I was the longest in those appointments, given the fact that opportunity were given to me. Yeah, so that's how I stay long in that particular position. But of course, it all started. I always tell people that scouting is in my blood. Right? If we were to cut my vein, right, and then the blood comes out, you take a microscope and you see the word scout there. You know, right? Yeah, it started when I was in the primary school, right? And what got me attracted at that point in time was the scout uniform. It was very appealing to me. You know, as a young boy, right, what's attract you when you see something very impressive, and I find the scout uniform then with all of badges, right, was something that I think that I would like to acquire. So my interest started because of the attractiveness of the uniform, right? That meant me being, at that point in time, we call them the Wolf Cup. Wolf Cup, not Cup Scout, Wolf Cup, right? So eventually I go to love scouting because I understand the significant, the fundamental values of scouting. For example, the scout promises, to do my best, the motto, be prepared, the scout law, right? And the moment you get more into it, you discover that you are able to align your belief and value system to the scouting ideals. And that's why I continue the journey, right? All the while until today, holding various appointments, getting my Chief Commissioner Award, the highest scout award, getting the President's Scout Award. Then you move on to become a scout leader, venture scout leader, rover scout leader, ADC, DC, you name it, right? Air Commissioner, then being the National Training Commissioner, and then subsequently, right, having the opportunity to serve at world level, right, and then as an ED of the Scout Association for the last 30 years. So I consider myself blessed in a sense. Well, people ask me the same question, and I tell myself that it made me a man. It made a person who make me more resilient, because especially the words, be prepared, right? You got to be prepared for life, right? And that's how, right, I started to engage in lifelong journey, lifelong learning, right? To learn more about scouting, to understand more about scouting, and most importantly, right, in my academic pursuit, to be the best that I can be, right? So that I can acquire more knowledge, I can remain employable. So that the key words start with be prepared for eventualities. Yeah. So with the education that I have, I can now become a so-called, in addition to my normal job, I can even teach in the university for that matter. I started only as a lifeguard without any education, right? And along the way, became in the firefighting environment, right? Took up my studies, right? And then, right, with the additional academic exposure, I'm now able to touch people's life by, teaching them in the university, and that really gave me a lot of immense satisfaction. Okay, there's a saying, if you are an athlete, you want to go to at least what we call the Olympic. It's dream of a lifetime, to be able to go to an Olympic, Olympic Games, right? Right. Yeah, for me, right, to go to the World Jamboree is something like a dream come true. So as a young scout, I had the opportunity to represent Singapore to the 13th World Jamboree. And that was something that really made me see the world, right? At the point in time, right? Just in my secondary school, right, and being selected to represent Singapore together with 12 others, was something that I would never be able to erase from my memory. So there was something that, an opportunity to be at a world event, just like going to an Olympic, which was held once every 4 years. So that gave me a lot of insight. But scouting is not just in Singapore, but you get to see members of the Scout worldwide, and that gave me immense satisfaction, right? Wanting me to do even more when I come back. That's why I continue to do scouting. That was then, right? But as you grow up, right, become a leader, right, the landscape there, you were to compare with today, of course, there are a lot of changes. We are talking now today in Singapore context, the millennium, right, talking more about urbanized scouting. During my time, in my younger days, there are a lot of rural areas where you can do camping. It's a lot easier just to go out there and pitch a tent, which today you can hardly do that. Yeah, and so that's where the key difference. There are more opportunities for you to do outdoor activities than when I was in my younger days. But subsequently, you find that Singapore being scared of land, right? So the only way that you can really do camping is probably across the causeway, probably, right? Yeah, that's what I did sometimes. Cycle over to, and do something there more meaningfully, if you want to be close to nature, right? Because Singapore is too urbanized. But that doesn't mean that Singapore, we are not relevant. We're still relevant. But the way we do it maybe need to suit with time. Time have changed, so that scouting can remain more appealing. Kim Cheong, the former regional director, right? When he retires, about to retire, he asked me, Effendy, right, would you like to take over my position as a regional director? Wow. Right? So we have a good chat. We met him, right? And that's how I started to apply for the regional director in APR, right? So I went for the interview, right? And in India, 2001, after the regional conference, right? And in fact, at that interview, right, he told me that Dr. Jack Maurion told me that, in fact, yeah, we're willing to offer you the job as a regional director, but I think you're more suitable for the position in Geneva as the director for adult resources. Given that your educational background is in training, management, I think we need you more in headquarters than at regional level. And that's how I get into the world level in Geneva. And I must say that I'm the first Asian to hold the position at world level, at that senior level. Yeah, it totally changes my perspective in life, because when you are there, you are serving the 6th region, Africa, the Arab region, the Inter-Americans, the Asia Pacific, the African region. And therefore, you get to see things from global perspective. What works in Singapore may not necessarily work in Africa, may not necessarily work in the Arab region. Culturally, they're totally different. So you get to sort of learn how to adapt yourself. You learn to be culturally sensitive. Right? You learn to see things from many, many perspectives. Right? That's where I find it very enriching. Right? I'm able to impart my knowledge because I'm there. As Director of Adult Resources, I support to build up their organizational capacity, to provide advice on training and development, right? To provide as a consultant about management issues, yeah. And what my advice in the African region will be totally different from my advice in the Arab region, for that matter. Although the basic principle may be similar principally, but the way you do things differs. And that's where I learn how to be more adaptable in that sense. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it in my experience in Geneva.
Yes, and that certainly sounds
Yes,
very
yes,
interesting.
definitely. Otherwise, if you stay in Singapore, right, you just be more localized. That's why I would advise my students when I'm teaching you, right? If you have the opportunity to be posted overseas, seize that opportunity. You will never regret it. When you come back, you can see things from the world global perspective, and that will totally change your mental faculty and change your mindset. When I was the National Training Commissioner, right, I was also being recommended to serve in the subcommittee of the Asia Pacific, where I serve in the Adult Resource Subcommittee. And as a vice chairman of the Adult Resource Committee, right, I get invited to help to run courses in the region, particularly in India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Thailand, Bangkok, Indonesia, right, to become a resource speaker as a volunteer at that point in time, right? So that's how I get myself involved to help build up the NSO capacity, right? From especially during running of the CLT, course for leaders, the 4-meter course or 3-meter course, right? That was my primary involvement. But subsequently, right, I get myself involved in supporting the region to run management courses for the professional scouts. They tap my expertise to sort of help them organize some modules pertaining to management. When I was the ED at the point in time. And then later when the ASEAN Scout Association for Regional Cooperation, in short ASAP, was inaugurated in 2007 in Kuala Lumpur, right? And for the first time, we have an association among the NSO within ASEAN countries, right? And they rotated the Secretary General, right? And come in 2014, right, I was appointed as the Secretary General of the ASEAN Scout Association until last year, right, when we hand over the baton, where Singapore was the chairman of the ASEAN Scout Committee to Thailand. And so Thailand took over as the chairman of the ASAP, and also they also appoint their own Secretary General. So my term finished last year, December.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a voluntary position.
Right. Okay.
Yes,
All
correct.
right.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's why the scarf I'm wearing is where they depict all the flag of the ASEAN
ASEAN.
countries. So this is a ASAP uniform, and you notice here, the ASAP badge.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Over
Oh, this one, yeah.
the bronze
The
roof.
bronze roof. This was almost unexpected, to be honest. I wasn't really even thinking of it, to be honest, because I was so glad that I was given the highest award in Singapore, the gold award in Singapore. Those days they called it this distinguished award. Way back in 1996, I got that award. I never dreamed of this, to be honest. But I was told by Cheng Kiong, the Chief Commissioner, and IC, Effendy, right? We would like to nominate you for the bronze roof. Wow, I fell off my chair. I said, no, I don't think I deserve it. No, I think you're more than deserving. The rest is history. Right? So when I got the bronze roof, right, it's really an honor because it's considered the award of, those who have been involved in scouting. This is the only award that was given at world level, the bronze roof. Right? And I was honored because I'm the 4th person in Singapore to have ever received this award. The first, as you know, was Dr. Ee Peng Liang. And then followed by, I think, Billy Goh, then Anthony Teng, and then myself. Right? So it was very prestigious in that sense, honorable, right, to receive the highest award. So something that I really could not imagine. Yeah, so I think I owe it to the Singapore Scout Association for giving me the opportunity to serve scouting not only at regional level but also at world level, and therefore I believe the contribution is being recognized in that sense. Yeah, that's why you look at the back of my where I'm sitting right straight of you, see the word bronze roof there, right? That become my centerpiece in my so-called scouting office here. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Very, very big congratulations to you on
Thank
that.
you. I think
Yeah.
I owe it to scouting. Yeah, I must never forget Cheng Kiong and Chee Hong Ling for wanting to more or less suggesting it, and I get to have. Then they managed to get someone to nominate me because you have to be a bronze roof holder to nominate someone.
Right.
Yeah, And I don't know, Rasmussen.
Yes.
He's the one who sort of, who sponsored me in that sense. And then the award committee approved it, and whole and behold, and the World Scout Conference in Azerbaijan 2017, fortunate enough to be conferred the bronze roof. So my number is 357. So far in Singapore, it's only less than, in total of the whole world, less than 400 people has been bestowed this highest award.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are far too many. The first one as a young boy attending the World Scout Jamboree, right? And of course, along the way, right, I think I was more or less involved in promoting mountaineering in the Singapore Scout Association. Right? Since in the late 80s, 1980, I led the team leaders from Katong to go to the Himalayas.
Yes.
Right? And subsequently after that, we organized more mountaineering activities, right? And I led a team to go to the Island Peak in 1990 in the Himalayas, and went to Mera Peak, all these are above 6,000 meters.
Right.
Though this is not easy to climb at that height. Subsequently, we went over to Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa, and then the highest peak in South America, Aconcagua. Although I don't reach to the top, but at least you make an attempt to go. So that sort of, to me, is a milestone, right? Where Singapore Association, being the only youth organization that has ventured into mountaineering. So that's something is very lasting for me. And of course, that one is being the longest NTC, right? So I get to see many leaders going through under my leadership, right? Finishing their training, basic, advanced, and getting the wood badge. That is something that I think I feel honored with, in a way.
Right. Welcome back again to another segment or interview with Dr. Effendy. And with us right now, we have another historical extraordinaire, Mr. Michael Poh.
No.
And you'll be surprised to know that Dr. Effendy and Michael, both of them have traveled almost more than half the world together as well on scouting
Yes.
matters. Of course, we won't be asking them about their bathroom or habits or anything. I know we were roommates for many times. But we would like to ask about some of the historical pictures, all right, and magazine artifacts that Dr. Effendy have. Michael?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Effendy. It's very
Welcome.
nice to have honor to able to have a small little talk with you.
It's a pleasure.
And also, I have been traveling with you for so many years around the world, and I have gained a lot of experience. Now today I'm here because I have seen many of your articles, photographs. I would like to probably ask you some of the photos that you have.
Sure.
I start off with your family because you know what? I see your little two of these photos that you have with your mom.
This is my mother.
I think you should thank your mom for what you are today. See, this is so beautiful.
Thank God. Right? Thank God I was born into this world.
Look at a small boy.
Yeah.
This is Dr.
yes.
Effendy.
Yeah. You see, those who were young, the way the hairstyle is different.
Yeah. So where was this taken?
I wouldn't know, really, honestly speaking. You ask me. Maybe I was, I don't know where, to be honest with you, right? But I know that probably it was this, 3 years old or 4 years old, probably.
Wow,
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably, but I wouldn't know, yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
and I also see.
Oh,
look
this,
at
okay.
that's beautiful.
This one,
Yeah.
how should I put it? Because it's during my time to be able to represent the association at world level is something very, very grand, right? So therefore, I was asked to take a photograph, right, of scouting, right, to be published in the school magazine. So I went to the studio, right? It's like today iPhone, we just snap it. Went to studio, and this photograph appeared in the school magazine. I still remember in my school, they make the announcement, right? Wow, we are so proud to have one of our students representing the Singapore Scout Association, right, to the world, right, at world level. Wow, you feel so touched,
That's a
Yeah.
Katong district.
Yes, that's right. And the best part of it, right, the school, they know that I'm financially not so well off, and the school collected money to give me as a pocket money. Wow, something that I will feel so touched until today,
That's wonderful.
unexpectedly, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And they announced it in the school hall. The school are very, very proud of me as well. Something, one of those things. Yeah.
And then after that, you continue from secondary to.
This was my secondary.
Secondary.
Right? I told Kekeng just now, it started when I was in primary school. 1610.
In the
Yeah.
probably in the 60s.
66. I joined Scout 66, and then I went to 1612. We were rival, 1614, 1616. Remember, right? 1612.
Yes.
Right? Teluk Kurau, Besar, Chai Chi.
Rivalry.
Yeah.
And I also see you,
Yeah.
attending some of these early days in the World Jamboree.
Yeah.
I see some of your
This is one. So
program.
this something that, wow, I tell you this one, fantastic. I couldn't sleep for many nights, man.
Why?
Because thinking of going to fly on an aircraft, where you had opportunity, particularly for me at that tender age, to take an airplane. Those days, not like today, people can just buy a ticket and goes off. No? Those days, you can't even afford it, right? So to be able to fly on an aircraft, you feel, wow, couldn't sleep for a number of nights,
So
I tell
how
you,
many
right?
of these people
So
are there,
these are
actually?
the contingent right, that represents Singapore. Right? And these are some of the lay members who sent us off at Paya Lebar Airport. So before we flew off.
So
And
who was the contingent leader at that time?
contingent was, my contingent was Tang Cheng Ho, who passed away. You know Tang Cheng Ho. Tang Cheng, he was the contingent leader. Yeah, is this in the picture here? It should be in the picture here. Tang Cheng Ho. Let me see. Yeah, there. Tang Cheng Ho.
I
Tang
see.
Cheng Ho. Lincoln Tick knows him very, very well. Tang Cheng Ho.
And I must add that in today's context, we probably won't be able to take such a photograph on the airport
Yes,
tarmac.
exactly. Special permission given to us, right?
So that was
Yeah.
this one was the
This
one
one.
that you're attending the.
No, this one was before I attended the World Jamboree. This was when President Shears, when he became the president of the country, right? He took over from President, the late Yusuf Ishaq, who passed away, right? So he was our second president, right? So in honor of him as a chief scout, automatically I can say that all the presidents of the country become our chief scout, right? So when he took over, right? So we organized a special camp for him to welcome him. The word RDG, right? So RDG chief scout lah. This was held in Sangbun, and I was there, right? And he visited all the patrols, right? And I was representing Katong district.
Right.
Right? Katong district, I was there. And he happened to stop by, and I don't know who took this photograph, to be honest with you. Right? And then I just happened to grab it, and this was the souvenir. In fact, donated by you. Right? Yes, very, very, not easy to find, very historical.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that's how it is.
Yeah, and then finally you goes on with all your adults.
Yeah,
become
yeah.
leaders
This is one
and
of
all that.
milestone, right? Yeah, and then it just the rest just like I told Kekeng, you just move
I,
on.
I,
Yeah,
I
you're
also
saying,
have seen
Yeah.
some of the magazines in the 90s.
Yeah.
And, you were saying scouting make me what I am today.
Yes, make me a man.
Why do you say that?
well, it prepare you for life.
Good.
Yes, definitely. The word "be prepared." I was telling Kekeng just now. The word "be prepared" tells a lot, right? And you prepare for life. That's how I start to embark on my studies, right? Having no degree until be able now to teach, right? And I can even make my life more employable, not simply life, not what we call lifelong employment. We call it, but lifelong employability. So with education, right, you'll be able to do any sort of job. And why? To be prepared for uncertainty, be prepared for the future, and the word "be prepared." And it's in the motto, right? And that's how, scouting made me who I am today. To be prepared for whatever eventualities. In that sense.
Like they say, scouting is a way education for
Yes,
life.
definitely, right? And the scout promise, what they call it, to do my best. Whatever you do, you always do your best.
And I
Yeah,
also know
yeah.
that you are also in the training as a training commissioner. So I saw some of the photographs. Maybe
Yeah,
you can able to explain to me. I found some of this photograph.
Yep, of course.
When was this taken?
These are all when I was the NTC. When one of the courses, when I was there, so I took the opportunity to present the so-called, certificate or whatever is there. So in one, I can't remember exactly when, but they must be in the early 90s. When I was the NTC, one of the courses in camp. I did a basic course or the skill courses.
Good.
Yep,
Yep.
no problem.
And I also found some photos about you in Malay newspaper. And with
Our
Ahmad.
brother,
Yeah,
This is
the
when I
first-
think when I got the, let me see, this was 20 years ago. Oh yeah, this is when I first got my Chief Scout commendation.
Oh.
Commendation, the lowest commendation, then you have the bronze, the gold. So this was the first time I got it, lah. And I got it just after I got married, lah, something like that. Yeah, in that sense.
he was
But
there too.
Aman was there. Aman also got it at the same time. At that time, Aman wasn't staff of the association. I also wasn't working in the association yet at that point in time. This was just in my early 1980s, probably. Yeah. And the press, the Malay Berita Harian was there, snapped the photograph out of it. Yeah.
And I also remember
So-
that you are also in, part of the Wasm team.
Yeah.
So I have some of the photographs. Which you
Okay,
probably
this
see.
this one, I must thank our former Chief Commissioner, Mr. Ling Keng Tek, for sending me to Gilwell to attend the 4-bidder course.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
So this last time they call it the TAC, Trainer Advanced Course. Trainer Basic Course is the 3-bidder. TAC, Trainer Advanced Course, and this is my team at Gilwell. No, Gilwell is a mecca of training.
Yeah.
To be able to be there to attend the course is someone. So you aspire to be where Gilwell,
You seem to,
training team.
to keep a lot of photographs.
Yeah,
That tells a lot of
this
history.
this was 1983.
Very handsome.
1983.
Yeah.
Just after gotten married.
What about this one?
This one is something I cherish. Why I cherish? Because this is the first Secretary General of WSM. Dr. Still in my mind, right? He wrote the book, right? So when I was in Geneva, right, he visited the head office, right? So I had a chance to take photograph with him. Yeah, right?
See.
Yeah. I
There's-
think.
there's one probably
Oh,
written
yes,
there.
I written there. There's
Passed away,
Dr. Lazio Neji, who passed away in 2009. Yeah, so he's the first Secretary General of the world, the longest in fact, before Jacques Maurion, which is in this picture. Jacques Maurion took over from him.
I see.
This is the King of Sweden.
Yeah.
Right? He is a patron of the World Scout Foundation,
Yes.
and Dr. Jacques introduced me to him at the World Scout Jamboree
can show
in the World Scout Jamboree in Thailand. Okay, so I was there to serve as a staff of the World Scout Bureau in the World Scout Jamboree in Thailand.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
This all is.
Okay. I have been
Yeah.
traveling with you since 2006. I have some of the photographs that
Yeah.
may be of some interest. And this was my very first,
Which
I
one?
think my very first travel with you.
Okay, this was in Thailand, in Bangkok, where we more or less accompany our president, former president of the Singapore Scout Association, Noel Horn, where he received the first class order of the National Scout Association of Thailand award.
And I
So
think
this
some
one.
of them have already passed away. Quite a number of them. I think if not, it's no more.
This one was at, let me see, where was this? Okay, yeah,
I think the same place.
same place. I think so, yes, the same
207,
place.
yeah,
That's
but
correct,
I
27,
was
yes.
Wondering some of them
Yes,
already passed
one
away.
of them is Pa Azrul, Pa Azrul.
Yeah.
He was the one who started the ASEAN Scout Association, Pa Azrul. The chairman of Pramuka Scout. Yeah, that's correct.
That's good.
Yeah.
And in fact, actually, I've been, traveling with you so many countries.
Yes.
And part of the photos which I want to, maybe you can remember, one lot like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was in Ecuador.
Yeah.
Ecuador.
Yes.
Ecuador,
you're
right?
Yes.
When we were promoting our the bid for the World Scout Jamboree, where we lost to Japan.
Yep.
Remember, we were
Yes.
Ecuador. These are Ecuador, right? And then let me
Latin
see.
America,
These are in Latin America.
Yeah.
All these are the picture in Latin
All
America.
the hard work
all
being
these,
put in,
yes, right?
I see you
Latin
so
America.
busy with all these people.
Yeah, we are promoting our bid.
Presenting all the souvenirs to them.
You're part of it
course,
also,
it's
right?
hard work, lah.
Yeah,
all
correct,
the setup and all that. Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Ecuador.
And I also see in the Straight Time,
Oh,
you are one of the, you look at it, lecturer 62, Win Scout highest honor. and probably this is one of the highest honor that you have. All
This
right
is what-
there. Yeah.
The bonds with what?
So how do you feel when you?
I told Kikeng just
I
now.
was there. And I
Yeah,
see
you were there
receiving this award.
in Azerbaijan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, is no word can ever describe it. The kind of happiness, right? But I really remember, right? I owed it to the Scout Association, who gives me the opportunity to serve scouting at world level. Otherwise, this wouldn't have been given to me as a form of recognition. So I must say that it's through the Singapore Scouts Association that I get this.
When I travel with
Yeah.
you were always right at the corner and quiet. But then a lot of people will go there and see you. Although you are very quiet, but you are really, really well known.
No. By and large, I'm an introvert. By and large, honestly speaking, right? Yeah, I don't. Some people call me antisocial. I'm not like you, Mike. You were just
That is
open
my
up, but-
character.
Yeah, but not me. You know me,
You
right?
are really
You know me.
fantastic, I would say. I salute
I'm
you.
not. I mean, that's me, okay, right? I'm more reserved kind of person, right?
yes.
Even though you are reserved, but you are well known. People will come to see you.
but because I'm long enough with scouting, they know me, I know them. So it's just that, is it right? So we have this kind of camaraderie, So when we meet each other, we say, hey, how is that? So just that, right? Yeah.
Really,
so I'm a low-key person. Yeah, I like to keep it that way.
But anyway, I really
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah.
in fact, you are the one that bring me back to scouting. Otherwise, I won't be here serving, still serving, since the day when I come back in 2005.
Yes. If I've not been to your shop, right?
Yeah.
And bump into you, even I couldn't recognize until you call out my name, but the rest is history.
Yeah, history.
Right? Yes.
yeah, really thanks you a lot.
You have since then you have contributed a lot more to the association. To be honest with
we all
you,
do our very best.
Definitely.
In whatever capacity we are in.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Definitely,
let me
yeah.
introduce to him and say that really thanks Dr. Effendy for what you have done over the years for scouting.
Yeah.
I can't do that. It's in the blood, right? And today is, I use the word, it's always a payback time, right? So I'm doing what I can to touch people's life in different capacity.
Good.
Yeah? And there's no such thing as retirement in scouting. We just move on.
Yeah.
So, that's all I can say.
In whatever way,
Move on.
whether you are
Because
in
I'm still serving scouting in a different capacity as a awesome consultant. So sometimes, in fact, tonight I have a Zoom meeting which I have to forgo.
Sorry. I
No,
think
doesn't
we
matter,
got-
right?
yeah, we got to cut short.
Doesn't matter, right? Yeah, but feel honored to be given the opportunity to continue serving, right?
That's
So,
good.
so I'm always available if there's a need. The new leadership thinks that I could be of any help. I'm just an email call away, right? So otherwise, right, we will continue to contribute scouting in whatever capacity we can.
So thank you, Dr. Effendy, for sharing with us your illustrious involvement in scouting all these years. And of course, for your guidance and friendship, which in a way started when I was a young scout and you were a district commissioner who
Yes.
interviewed me when I went for the very first World Jamboree.
Yes.
That was back in 1988.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much.
Not at all. It's pleasure. It's my duty to support you as a DC. I'm just doing my part.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Not
you
your
so much.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
And thank you to your team as well.
Oh,
They're
yes.
wonderful
Yeah,
people.
yes.
Yeah,
They're all
look at them.
working
All the professional people. They're behind the seat, but they
Yeah,
are the ones
yes.
doing most of the work for
Salute.
us. Right?
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay seen.
Thank you, Dr. Effendy.
Right? Thank you.